Star Citizen had a record-breaking year in terms of crowdfunding in 2019. Pokemon Home introduces a new Professor Oak, and more. My name's Andrew Dornan, and this is my show, What's New? So before we get started, this is something that we'll tie back into when we cover website and channel news. It's a cold front came in, and with it brought clouds, and so it's cloudy, and the lighting is horrible, and my windows have not frosted over, but like there's condensation on it. So even if there was good lighting, it got ruined because of the windows. So there's just no winning. There's no winning. The house always wins. I have the ceiling lamp on, and hopefully this will all get fixed in the future. But, you know, without further ado, let's just jump into that first story. Our first story of today is that Star Citizen had an incredible year for crowdfunding in 2019. It brought in over $47.7 million. Yes, 47.7. That's honestly, I still have a hard time wrapping my brain around how much money Star Citizen has brought in. And the last time I checked, it was still in early access, so it's like the most crowdfunded early access game out there, I think. It's a little absurd. And what's even more absurd is that in 2019, the amount I just said, that was an increase of like 26% from 2018. And in 2018, they brought $46 million. There's a lot of people who really love Star Citizen, and I don't blame them. It's amazing looking, and there's all these cool ships, but holy hell is the game. The game already costs like a pretty penny, and then it's like some of the ships you have to pay real money for. It's crazy, and that's how they've been getting their money. And honestly, I don't hate them for it. I think they've hit a gold mine. Like, people haven't had a really good looking, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like MMO space sim. Like, there's Elite Dangerous, but Elite Dangerous has a very particular style to it, and Star Citizen is just it's more like, it's the more stylized futuristic, which is kind of cool. But to reel it back for a minute, so this year, or not this year, but in 2019 they made $47.7 million, and in 2018 they made $46 million. So in the past 2 years they've made $131.5 million. That's like 131 times Dr. Oh god, what's his name? Oh, the guy, the evil scientist from Austin Powers. $1 million. What? I'm gonna look this up. Dr. Evil. Oh my god. I'm a moron. Dr. Evil. Christ. What is my life? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. This is how the show goes now. I don't have a co-host, so it's all on me to be both the bringer of news and the dumb one. With that out of the way, that dumb bit, let's go to story 2, which is that Pokemon Home has officially launched, and with it brings another Professor Oak. Oh boy. You know, they brought in the beginning, there was Professor Oak, and then the Lord said, let there be elm, birch, rowan, juniper, sycamore. Oh, it's been a while since we've had Kanto, so let's bring in another oak, but let's call him Samson Oak and give him a nice tan. Shut up. And so then Nintendo Switch comes along, and we have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and then it's like, with Pokemon Bank, we got a new Pokemon Professor, and I was like, I wonder if we're gonna get a new, brand new Professor for Pokemon Home. Well, Pokemon Home heard you and went, hey, what if we made Professor Oak grand? It's the most ridiculous. I feel like it's the most ridiculous news story we're covering this episode. But it's just, his name is Grand Oak, and the only thing that I see different is that he's got funky shades, and his lab coat is a little bit different. But other than that, he's just Professor Oak trying to be hip. And honestly, there's a bit of magic to that. So, Christ. Pokemon Home is just, it's magical. The Pokemon franchise as a whole is purely magical. And there will never not be a moment where I just stop, sigh, and just say that it's magical. Because it really is. The fandom, we're not going to get into, but the franchise itself is just a pure joy. But there's one thing I'm going to have to let you guys know about. If you're on iOS, I had trouble finding the app. I searched just Pokemon Home with just basic capitalization and no accent over the E, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, what the heck? So I typed Pokemon out exactly how it should be with the accented E, and then I put Home in all caps. And it took me a while searching through those search results, which apparently iTunes is very particular on how you type things, but I did eventually find Pokemon Home app. I downloaded it, and I went to go link up my Nintendo Network ID with the app, but it gave me a communication error, so I was gonna get footage of me using that app for this episode, but I can't even be bothered. Because so many people are trying to log in right now and the servers are just dying. So, you know, typical Nintendo stuff. Servers are dying day 1, day 2. It's fine. Alright, our third story of today is that we are getting 4 new Super Nintendo and Nintendo Entertainment System games being added to Nintendo Switch Online. If you pay for Nintendo Switch Online, you get the little NES Classics and like SNES Classics or Super Nintendo Classics, and you can play them through that app, which is kind of neat. People thought that there was going to be a Direct, and they thought that in January. Basically every month people say that there's going to be a Direct. Well, there was not a Direct, but rather a tweet from Nintendo of America showcasing the 4 new games to our Super Nintendo, to our Nintendo Entertainment System. The Super NES games are Poppin' Twin B, which is a cute-looking top-down shooter, and Smash Tennis, which is just tennis. It's wonderful. And then for the NES, you have Shadow of the Ninja, which looks cool. It's definitely a ninja side-scrolling game set in the future on the NES. So, you know, that probably gives you as much information as you need to know. And then Eliminator Boat Duel, which is a boat racing game, I guess. I got Boat Racer out of it. I don't know what else to tell you, though. The announcement was definitely very interesting. A lot of people are really disappointed. And, you know, for the longest time, I was just like, yeah, you know, it's whatever. But, like, seeing this, I'm like, only one of those games seems interesting. Maybe Poppin' Twin Bee if you're a top-down shooter fan, because that does look pretty fun. But Smash Tennis, I listened to the gameplay that they put in that little like announcement tweet video, and there wasn't a lot to it. It was just doom, doom, for love, and I'm like, what? This is so boring. Tennis on Wii Sports is way more interesting. Because, I don't know, maybe it's because it's Wii Sports and I'm biased, who knows, I know. But, yeah, so just 4 games, 2 for Super Nintendo, 2 for regular Nintendo, and it just, I don't know, they seem kind of meh. But it is what it is. Nintendo does what Nintendo does, so there's no real arguing. Our fourth and final gaming news story of today is that The Division 2 is getting a major expansion. It's going to be called Warlords of New York, and it's releasing on March 3rd for PS4, Xbox One, and PC at $30. This is marking the beginning of year 2 content, and it adds more ways to level up and also ups the level cap itself to 40, which is really nice. And then also the gear system has been completely streamlined, which that's great because I've seen footage of the gear system in The Division 2 and I've just been like, I'm gonna stick with The Division 1 because it's, even in The Division 1 it was kind of a mess, but at least it felt more straightforward than in The Division 2. And on top of that, not only has the gear system itself been completely overhauled to be more streamlined, the inventory itself, like the UI system, has also been streamlined, so that way you don't have to worry about all the minor stats that mean nothing to the average player, which is great. I love that. This might get me into the door of playing The Division 2, but I still haven't beaten The Division 1, so like how it is for many new games that come out, I will probably not play them for at least another 5, 10, 15 years. Alright, our last bit of news for today is website and channel news. You may have noticed that I was alluding to something at the beginning of the episode. In fact, I even stated I was alluding to something. And that's that I'm officially getting a lighting kit. Up until this time, for all the videos that have required me standing in front of a camera and not just recording gameplay, I've needed light. And so I've typically recorded somewhere in like the mid-morning to like afternoon, and that has been the only window of time that I could record. Well, I'm finally changing that. I'm finally getting a lighting kit so that way I can record whenever, and I'm not restricted to windows and natural light and gross looking ceiling lights. So that's amazing. I am excited. So that the change won't have, when I place the order, they'll probably come in on Friday, so Friday's video won't have the lights, but I will have them ready for Monday. And then also, speaking of videos, I stated that the release cycle is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I never specified a time. That's because I really don't have a set time. It's just sometime before noon is what I try to strive for, because on Mondays and Wednesdays I usually have to leave the house by like 11, so I can get to class. So it's one of those things where, you know, I try to get it done sometime before 11 or 12. So that's not great because that's not too terribly consistent, but at least I have it set to like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So yeah, with that, I guess that's the time to end the episode. Thank you so much for watching. Because I'm doing this on my own, I have no one to bounce off of, so I end up rambling and doing a lot of takes because they aren't exactly well done. But if you do like my content and want to support me in other ways, I will have a link to the support the content page down below, or if you're viewing this on Facebook, it will be up above. Additionally, if you would like to learn more about Andrew Dornan's What's New, I will have a link to the main show page in the show notes below if you're on the website, above if you're on Facebook. I upload these to like 2 separate places. Why? Because I need website content, that's why. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys Friday. I almost said next week, but it's not mini pack, it's What's New. So I'll see you guys on Friday for another episode of Andrew Dornan's What's New. Bye bye.